Welcome back to the Sage Audio channel. Today we'll look at some of the best mastering presets. We'll cover 7 mastering presets from various plugins and developers, talk about how they work and can potentially be improved, and then listen to how they sound on a stereo track. So if you could, like, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for the full video. But first, if you're an artist, engineer, or producer, and you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample of it. All you have to do is set up an account, upload the song, and we do the rest. First up, we have The Tube by FabFilter Saturn and Saturn II. The Tube is included in both iterations of FabFilter's Saturn plugin. It provides realistic and amazingly rich sounding analog emulation. It also creates subtle but impressive stereo image effects via mid-side processing. Now what's great about this preset is that it can be used on just about any master. If you feel that it's a little too aggressive, simply change the wet-dry of the plugin. Now what I like to do is create 3 bands with this preset. This isolates all of the plugin's modulation effects and other codependent drive functions to just the mid-channel. As a result, the effect can make the mid-range more present, and I get a little more control over the low and high frequency ranges. Let's take a listen to this preset.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do.
Next, we have Subtle Stereo Enhancer, which is included in the FabFilter Pro Q3. A lot of equalization presets greatly affect the frequency response, but the Subtle Stereo Enhancer does what its name suggests. By gently boosting the left and right channels by 2 dB, but at slightly different frequencies, this effect causes stereo expansion without being too noticeable or detracting from the focus of a master. Notice how the frequencies are selected. In the low end, the right bell filter is slightly higher in frequency than the left, but this relationship is reversed in the higher frequencies. This, I think, is to compensate for how lower frequencies mask higher ones. By alternating these two, the left and right channels maintain a roughly equal perceived loudness. A couple things that might be beneficial to change would be to highlight all bands and reduce their amplitude from roughly 1.5 dB to 1 dB or a little less. This is going to depend on your personal preference. Also, it might be a good idea to switch the phase from 0 latency to natural phase or linear phase. Let's take a listen to this preset.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you. I want you now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you, the way I do.
Next, we have MS Limiter by T-Rax S Quad Limiter. Although most of the presets from this limiter are too aggressive to be useful, this one in particular can really improve the sound of a master. By switching the processing from stereo to mid-side, the limiter attenuates gently and primarily on the mid-image. This results in pleasant and subtle stereo expansion, since the side image is now louder relative to the mid-image. Depending on the mix, you may notice that the majority of the compression is occurring in the low mids, which will also help to clean up your master. Now try altering the slope between the bands if you're finding that the attenuation seems unfocused or affecting too many frequencies. Let's take a listen to the preset.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see, baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do.
Up next is Clean Master THD1 on the Softube tape. Clean Master THD1 is a fantastic way to add subtle harmonic distortion to a master quickly. As the name suggests, this preset results in roughly 1% total harmonic distortion, which is just about right for a master. This preset works by reducing the level of the input. This ensures that the distortion doesn't occur too aggressively. Additionally, this allows for a higher distortion setting, since this distortion is going to occur to a lessened extent. Another important aspect is the tape speed, which has been increased to 30 inches per second. This means that less distortion and less compression is going to occur. Furthermore, the frequency response is going to be cleaned up slightly by having the low frequency range gently attenuated. In the remote control section, you'll notice that the high frequencies have a slight boost to them, and the crosstalk has been increased. Now, if I was the one using this preset on a master, one of the first things that I'd change would be this crosstalk setting. I'd most likely reduce it slightly to lessen the effect of stereo expansion. Lastly, you'll notice that the output has been increased to compensate for the low input. Let's take a listen to this preset.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see, baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do.
Next is Parallel Comp Tonalization Warm by Weiss DS1. Bob Katz has been an influential mastering engineer for decades, so getting to use his presets with the Weiss DS1 is pretty exciting. Although I won't get into every setting of the DS1, the main takeaways from this preset include an enabled parallel compression setting, a low compression threshold, a mild ratio, a hard knee setting, slow attack and release times, a bandpass internal sidechain from 50 Hz to 5 kHz, and reduced compression makeup gain. The effect is an incredibly subtle yet pleasant bump to the mid-frequencies. If you're not noticing the effect, or you want to add a little bit more of it, subtly increase the compressor's makeup gain but keep an eye and an ear out for clipping distortion. Let's take a listen to it.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do.
The next preset is Presence Boost by Voxengo Harmony EQ. Harmony EQ is a unique plugin. It lets you introduce compression, expansion, and harmonic distortion in tandem with equalization curves. The Presence Boost preset represents some of the best that this plugin has to offer. 5 shelf filters from about 2 kHz up to 38 kHz affect the high frequency range, each causing distinct compression and harmonic distortions to occur. Now what's great is that these bands are already subtle, but if you want to control them even more, you can highlight all of them at once and adjust them. If you want to do the opposite effect of this plugin, simply invert all the bands and employ expansion instead of compression. In short, this preset offers a distinctive sound, and it's easy to alter parameters to better suit what you're working on. Let's take a listen to it.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you can make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you can make me feel the way I do.
Lastly, we have Gentle Air, featured on the Drummer 1973. Last up is a preset that really wouldn't work if it wasn't for the wet-dry dial included in this plugin. Right after you select the preset, you can hear how drastically the sound has changed. The low and mid ranges are being affected heavily, while the high range isn't being affected to the same extent. This results in a thin and somewhat empty sound. However, the air function that's enabled in the high range gives it more of a wispy and ethereal quality. Although this sound is interesting in its own right, by blending it in with the original signal using the wet-dry mix dial up top, we can control how intense the effect is. So if you want to quickly dial in some air and high-end presence that's more wispy than aggressive or harsh, try this preset and then blend it in with your original signal. Let's take a listen to it.
I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else.
So these are our picks for some of the best mastering presets, but what do you think? Is there a preset or two that you like, but we didn't mention it here? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you're an artist or an engineer, send us one of your mixes at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample. All you have to do is set up an account, upload the song, and we do the rest. But thank you so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and share this video with your friends. This way we know if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Also, you can subscribe to the channel. We release 3 to 4 new videos every week, and subscribing is the best way to stay up to date. There's a comment section where you can leave your thoughts on this video, or you can make a suggestion for a future video. And again, if you're an artist or an engineer and you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us at sageaudio.com. We'll master it for you and send you a free mastered sample. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.